my last question for you, because we'll probably have a part two. The last question for you. There are a lot of people that are in foster care. You know, unfortunately, I feel like I don't know the statistics, I'm gonna look that up, of how many new kids are being, adopted or taken into the system. But for kids that are watching, or kids that have already been through it, that are still trying to battle the struggles of not coming up with their siblings and stuff, there's some people that they never get to this point where they meet their other sibling or they build that relationship. Like, you have siblings you're getting ready to go meet for the first time. And I'm actually looking forward to you doing that, because I'd rather you at least meet them, see if there's people you want to be around, versus never getting an opportunity to do so. And we're all humans. We're going to exit one day, and it's like you want to do it as soon as possible. So with that being said, what is some type of just advice or something you would give to someone that is in the predicament that you were in back then that could probably get them through it now, if that makes sense?
Honestly, I took it one day at a time. I had a calendar and I marked down my days till I turned 18. But I'm not saying that's the best way to go about it.
Because at that point, I feel like that's dragging. You're like, oh my God, I still have 180,000 or 85 days or whatever the case.
But no, the time may seem like it goes by slow in the moment, but actually time goes by really fast. So I would say, if you're in that situation, where you're adopted or being ready to be adopted, get to learn your adoptive parents. Get to really learn them and know them, and have a relationship. Get to the point to where you can have a relationship to where you can talk about anything, to where they know how you feel. Because being adopted as an older child, they didn't have those years to bond with you when you were a baby and when you were a toddler. So they're getting to know you and you're getting to know them. So if they're gonna be open with you about themselves, be open with them about yourself in that moment.
Especially if you see they're putting in effort.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, I feel like I never opened up enough to where my adopted parents could understand me all the way, which is hard to do because I was so stuck on my mother.
And you're also a child. So I feel like if the adoptive parents would have put that time, did y'all ever do therapy together?
Yeah, we did.
All three of all of y'all? Or just you?
We all did it.
You all did? But if they would just take that time, if she already, it sounds like what I'm hearing from your story, she didn't really know if she wanted to adopt. So with y'all being there and then it's just being real, I feel like she already has some type of resentment towards all three of y'all.
Also too, because I know you spoke from the child's perspective of being a foster child. I think also a word of advice to people that are considering being foster parents, understand where that child is coming from too. It's any relationship. I've learned my best relationships are the ones where I feel like I step out of my own perspective. The other person, from their perspective, even if somebody's mad at me, try to view it from their perspective, because maybe I didn't mean it a certain way, but maybe they perceived it a certain way, or maybe I came across that way. So understand it's gonna take time for a child to gain trust with you, for them, and to listen to you and trust you. Make sure you're going out of your way, and I really understand why you want to adopt, and then two,
let them know it's not going to be easy. You're not going to just that kid's not going to just gravitate towards you. There's going to be a lot of patience you're going to have. And anytime I hear anyone, with me being an adult, anytime I hear someone they want to adopt, I always ask them, make sure you really want to do that. Because if you're just doing that because you want to have a kid, you don't understand. You're not just having a kid as if you birthed it and the kid's coming in here with you being their mother and they're just getting a fresh start. You're going to most likely adopt somebody, depending on their age, or even if they're not age, they're adopted. They're going to have questions unless you never tell them they're adopted, which I wouldn't recommend that. But, because I feel like if I felt like I was being lied to, I feel like I would be hurt. And then I feel like I wouldn't be able to trust you. Yeah. So I know that there was court orders, but it was up to the adopted parents. So even with our mom, if maybe not letting them know where you stay, But if there's a way where the parents getting themselves together and they're changing, I feel like if they would at least let you start like talking to mom every now and then, maybe that would have been a little easier.
Or even trying to have a relationship with her themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
that they know how she's doing.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that. I know one lady who she adopted this little boy. His mom was on drugs. She couldn't take care of him. So she, pretty much adopted him. And, she stayed in touch with the mom and she went to rehab and went through this whole process. And now she knows the mom. They have a decent relationship and she allows her to come see the son.
See, and I feel like that's the most healthy part because
No matter what, and this goes for all, like, I would say unorthodox parenting situations where like it's a single parent or it's a foster parent. I feel like understand that the child is gonna have a natural instinct to be around his parent, and it's gonna grow into their adulthood. And I feel like I can speak to that, and all of us can. Like, I've never met my father a day in my life, but the day I meet my father, depending on the circumstances, I might give him a big hug. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I've never been able to do that. So, understand that the situation may be ugly. The biological parent may not have all of their shit together, but try not to be too much of a barrier and I know sometimes that can be out of a protective measure, but try not to be too much of a barrier to the biological parent, depending on the circumstances, of course, because you never know, you would rather the child find out that the parent isn't really up to par by the parent showing that they're not up to par, instead of protecting them from the fact that they're not up to par, because then the child is going to grow into an adult one day and real life is going to hit. Like, even my mom, the only reason we have a relationship after all of that is because it got to a point where I forgave her. And the only reason I forgave her is because as an adult, I was like, I can only imagine having a son at 15. Like, I would go crazy, like, for real. Like, so, they're going to understand what really happened and what really is based off of what they see. They're going to make their own decision off of that one day.